Welcome to Higgins Sanity Podcast and live stream. I'm your host, Jason Higgins.
I'm your co-host, Dan Slott.
On a somber note, want to give a shout out to your childhood dog. Passed away a few days ago. She was older and she lived a good life, but Sadie is no longer with us. So want to give a shout out and thoughts and prayers to you and your parents. And it's always tough because you never know how much pain they're going through and suffering they're going through, and it's always a hard judgment to make because you don't want to be selfish and put them through more pain than they have to be through, but you want them to live a full life. So
No, you're right. Sadie was an amazing dog. She lived to be about 9.5 years old. She's a Weimaraner, so they don't, live to be very long. They live to be about 10 years. Molly lived to be exactly 10 years. But with Sadie, you could tell it was time because, there was a point where, she's 125 pounds and, she used to jump on you. She used to be able to jump up on the bed, run up and down the stairs, run and get the ball, the snake, whatever, run all the way around the house, be in the middle of everything, wanting to follow everybody, love on everybody. These last few months, that was not Sadie. She can't even get up and down the stairs barely. She just, she had torn ACL, et cetera. It was time to where, just going to the bathroom and back, she was panting real bad. And when she could barely walk at that point, it was time. And, it was tough. I said my goodbyes the night before. I'm trying to be all cried out by this point because, there's definitely moments. I feel for my parents, just because, they're with her every single day. That was my childhood dog. And, yeah, I was the one that let her up on my bed, and she was with a group of friends. During the summertime, I'd work at Small Parts, and I'd get off work, and 8-10 of my friends would meet me at my house. We'd be at the pool, we'd be in the backyard playing, shooting baskets. Sadie'd be right there in the middle of everybody, having a great time and whatnot. But obviously the last 5-6 years. After I graduated college, I've lived on my own, or moved out after college, obviously, when I came back. It's been Sadie and my parents, so those long nights where my dad's, had to, bus trips to Richmond, for basketball, or was it to, late nights at Lafayette or, working, my mom was never scared or felt like she was always protected because she had Sadie. She had a ferocious bark. Any mailman or UPS worker, Amazon delivery guy, come to the front porch, they were running. But if you ever met Sadie, she'd kiss you and lick you and hug you to death. She wouldn't hurt a fly. So
that's the amazing thing with dogs. With Miles and Cora, Jackson will play with them, till he passes out,
Mm-hmm.
But if someone he's not familiar with is there, that's the only time he's ever had an aggressive bark.
Mm-hmm.
It's because he's a protector and he knows what's up. And same thing with Dylan, our old dog. Are we good?
All right, I can hear you now. Yeah, I can hear you now. Up.
Are we good?
You're good now. It went
All
to Dylan, and then boom, you left.
All right. No, I was just saying that's the only time. I mean, I obviously, met your sister after she had Dylan, but the only time I ever seen him aggressive was when he was in protector mode. And it's crazy how dogs just have that sense of protection. And like
Yeah.
you said, I mean, Sadie could have knocked a grown man on his ass if she wanted to, but
Oh yeah.
like she never had that aggressiveness, when she felt that you were a person that was a friend of the family or anything like that. So
Yeah, she was an amazing dog, and what's crazy is, Saturday I went to the Nickelback concert, and so, you know, I had my parents ended up watching Zoe. Just one I wanted to give my mom some company, just because with my dad being out at work, you know, the house is really quiet right now with
Right.
Sadie not being there, and she had texted me and let me know that Zoe had come into the house. She went all around the house,
Yeah,
looking for
searching.
Sadie, searching, whining, went to the closet, and she ended up going right to the toy box, pulling one toy out that smelled like Sadie, brought it to the floor, to the middle of the rug, and just laid on it. Didn't play with it, didn't chew on
Yeah.
it, just put her paws on it and put her head on it and just laid on it. And my
Yeah.
mom was like, it broke her heart, because she's like, even Zoe knew. And you know, Zoe, she's very hyper. She's a hyperactive. She's coonhound beagle.
Yeah.
And you know, it's funny
The
is
fact that she was that calm just like shows you
yeah,
the understanding
yeah,
that she had of the situation. Yeah.
yeah. And what's funny too, or not funny, is Sadie would get sometimes frustrated with Zoe because of her old age. Like when it was time to settle down, Sadie wanted to rest. Well, Zoe, she has a hard time understanding what the word rest means. And so
Mm-hmm.
with that being said, but there's times where like I would wrestle with Zoe and act like, you know, she was getting hurt. Sadie would boom, right there protecting her, like, hey,
Yeah.
that's my friend. And so
Yeah.
it's just, you know,
Sorry,
it
mine's
was,
whining. Jackson's whining at me right now. So.
oh no, you're fine. So, but I wanted to do a shout out
Yeah.
to Sadie, because, like I said, she's been an amazing dog. Couldn't ask for a better dog. I mean, she was my baby. You know, when I had to take some summer classes, and when I skipped them for good reasons. It was to hang out with Sadie and chill out. And but like I said, you couldn't ask for a better dog. So I mean, she's up there in heaven
Well,
right now with Molly and hanging out and enjoying herself. So
well,
she deserves it. She
yeah.
deserves all the happiness in the world. I know when my dad called me, he ended up calling me actually at work on Friday, and he told me, and he was crying, and you know, like I've only
Yeah.
you know I've only seen my dad cry 3 or 4 times in my whole entire life, and those were all for valid obvious reasons. And so hearing my dad, you know, cry as he's
Mm-hmm.
telling me, obviously, Chuck, you know, just really
I'm
hit me.
coming. I'll be there in a
Yeah.
second.
And the bad thing is I'm at work, so I'm like having to close my office door, because like I'm getting all this emotions all at once. Like I'm just getting all this news all at once. And you know, when he told me, like, you know, they brought in a blanket for her, they lay her down, and both my dad and mom get on both sides and, you know, lay next to her, and she just kind of looks back at both of them like she knows it's time, and she just lays there and just relaxes and goes to sleep. And so it's just,
Yeah.
but that's Sadie, so we'll have to throw some pictures of her up here and whatnot. So Skylar loves
Yep.
Sadie. So anybody who ever met Sadie loves Sadie. That was a dog
She
you
was
could
she was
not
like
like.
she was
Just,
a friendly beast, you know?
mhm.
Like she's huge, and like I said, she could take down a grown man if she wanted to, but she was just a friendly beast.
And she loved the butt scratches. Like you'd be sitting at
I
the
mean, who
table.
doesn't love a good butt
Yeah,
scratch?
you'd be
I
sitting
mean,
at the
come on.
table and you start patting her on the head. She's like, okay. Then she'd turn around. She's
She
like,
turns
okay,
around.
time for the butt. Booty,
I
time for the
when I
butt.
when I play video games, Jackson will come up to me and put his head in my face, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" Turn around, and he'll turn around and sit down,
Mm.
and he'll sit right in front of me, and then I'll scratch his butt, and he's like, "All right."
Jax needs RKO'd again by Uncle Jason as well.
Well, you work him up every time you come here, so. All right. Well, he's whining pretty good now, so he probably needs out. So.
Okay, well, we thought we'd just do
Hey,
a little
Mike.
shout out to Sadie. We had some
Yes.
technical problems earlier with some podcasts, where this is probably like our third or fourth podcast of the day, but our first one that we've been able to actually record and successfully succeed all the way through. So I like to say Sadie helped us through this one. Thank God, because right now we've been struggling today.
The ghost of Sadie
The
saved
ghost.
us.
And you said you didn't believe in ghosts the last podcast, so ha.
I don't believe in ghosts. Until next time, deuces.
Catch you on the flip side.
Let light overcome the darkness. Let light be your shining armor. Right now, you don't know if you even love yourself. Drowned out, broken down, with no one to turn to for help. There's so many roads, but there's only one way out of this. The glow on the hill is waiting for you to see it. Let light overcome the darkness. Let light be your shining armor. Open up your heart and watch all the panic burst into flames. Let light overcome the darkness.
Girl, you my baby. Are you my baby? Yeah, you are. You my baby. Yes, you are. You're so cute.